Well, it happened again. It will happen again. This is a prize student, right? Good morning, Unity North in Computer Land. This is Reverend Richard Burdick, and I'm delighted to invite you into our space today. So grateful that you have joined us. We have got a fantastic service planned. We're asking the question, are you on fire or are you burning up? And I'm hoping it's on fire. We're going to do some tests, ask some questions to help us decide where we are on our spiritual path and what we can do to make it more of a blazing fire as one that's burning down. Denise Rosier is here today, and I'm telling you, the music is going to be phenomenal. She is so incredibly great. I am glad that you are joining us today. Welcome to our hearts, welcome to our space, and welcome to Unity North. We appreciate you joining in. We appreciate your constant support. Tell everybody about what's going on here as you interact in your life and get them online with you. Have a fantastic and wonderful day. The service is going to start in just a few moments.
Well, good morning, Unity North. How are we this fine fall day? Yes, we are well. We are well. We have a special treat for you today. Denise Rosier is here from Colorado Springs. Danielle and I met her at the National Worship Leaders Conference, and she is a powerhouse awesomeness, and we hope to have her back for a full concert. But you probably know this first song. We introduced it soon after we came back. It's called Spirit is in This Place. She's the one that wrote it, so on your feet if you're able, and let's give her some help in singing it, and we'll hear how it's really supposed to be done. Yes, clapping is always encouraged. We have come together as a family. We have come here as we are. We have come with arms wide open. We have gathered here in love. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise a room with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. We sing in celebration. We sing with words of prayer. Sing with words of prayer. We affirm all life as sacred. We declare that peace is here. Yeah, yeah. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Ooh. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. In this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. In this place. Raise a room with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. Take that spirit of love, peace, joy, and harmony, and turn to your left and right, and give your neighbor a warm handshake or hug. All right, come on back. Let's raise the roof and shouts of praise. You ready? Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. In this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. In this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise a roof and shouts of praise. Raise a roof and shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. Spirit is in this place. Denise Rosier, that's how it's done. Put your hands together. Good job.
Good morning, Unity North. Spirit is in this place right here, yes? Is Spirit living in your heart as well? There is a power, there is a presence, there is a goodness, there is a fire, and it is in this place, it is in this place. And it's channeled 100 different ways, as shouts of praise, as inner stillness and inner knowing, where we come to the highest and deepest awareness that Spirit is always in this place. I wanted to, before I ask Carol, who is our chaplain on duty, to come forward to pray us in today, to make note, a very special member of our family. We celebrated just about a year and a half ago her 100th birthday. Miss Gladys made her transition this week, and Spirit is in this place. Her seat that she always sat in, she'd walk in the middle of my talk, come twiddling up, and all the eyes would go like this. Oh, Miss Gladys is here. I thought they were bowing to the sermon, but they weren't. No, it was Miss Gladys. We have flowers. We have flowers provided by Teresa today in honor of this beautiful soul that is in this place and lives in this place. Let's take a moment to enter this day. Let's enter each other's heart. And Carol is our chaplain on duty today. Please take us into this holy moment in this holy space.
Let's close our physical eyes and drop down to our heart space, releasing any tension from our body and our mind. Where I am, God is. Where you are, God is. God is here in this place. We are reminded of our oneness when we go into the silence. God is present. God is here. Let's turn our hearts and minds to this prayer box. We lift up every prayer in this box. We know that God's got this. God knows what we need even before we ask. And when we come together in like mind with faith, we know that the answer is yes, that the highest good for every prayer in this box is done. Thank you, God. Amen.
Thank you so much, Carol. If anybody would like extra prayer after the service today, our chaplains will be on duty right in the front of the stage here. They'd love to hold prayer with you. Right now, we want to welcome anybody who's here for the very first time. And we want you to know that whoever you are and wherever you may be on your spiritual path, you are welcome in this place. And more importantly, you're welcome in this place. We don't behold you as broken or stained or needing fixing. We're just waking up together. The ushers are coming forward, and the ushers have some flowers. That flower is a very intentional symbol that we're all blossoming and blooming and growing and stretching and learning together, and we're doing it in the great garden of our common humanity. And we're grateful that you have entered our garden today. You have brought a gift into this space, and we want to offer you that flower as well as the packet of information attached to it as our gift to you, because we're delighted that you've taken some of your precious time to be with us today. We're not going to make you sing. We're not going to make you dance or testify or anything. We're just going to ask that you put your hand up really high so the ushers can find you, and the rest of us are going to make a little bit of noise. So who's here for the very first time today? Welcome. Keep them up. They'll find you. Oh, come on. That's not good enough, Unity North. There we go. Welcome to our home, welcome to our family, welcome to our community, and welcome to our hearts. If you have any questions about what happens today, our New Beginnings team would love to meet you at the welcome table and the kiosk right in the back of the room to help you feel a little bit more welcome and to answer those questions. Again, we're delighted that you are here. In this church, we teach that there are many paths to the one God. And we're so grateful that your path has crossed ours today. And the intersection is where love and God happens. Right now, I'm going to invite our Executive Director, Diane Glenn, to come up and tell you a little bit about what's going on in our church.
Thank you, Richard. Good morning, Unity North. How is everyone? Good. Okay, Wes, let's do this. First, Thanksgiving potluck feast. At the end of every year, we have a Thanksgiving celebration on Thanksgiving Day, and we invite you all to join us. Sign-ups are going on downstairs. We just ask you to bring a dish. Bring yourselves, bring your family, and share in the love and the Thanksgiving that is what we are all about. We've been doing this, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years now, and each year it grows. Like 100 folks show up for dinner. They have dinner with us. Then they go to have dinner with their families, or maybe they don't. but they have dinner here. So we love having everyone here with us. Bring a dish, enjoy our company, enjoy each other. Sign-ups are going on downstairs, so please go downstairs and find those sign-up sheets. Next one. SEE class, meditation practices. It starts this Tuesday. It'll be on Zoom, and it will be and there's Jenny Scott will be leading it. If you want more information, find Jenny after the service. But if you're curious about meditation and meditation practices, I think this is the class for you. I know that Richard, we touched on it a little bit in our new members class yesterday, and we also touched on it during first service. So it's something that everyone is always trying to improve upon, right? So please go see Jenny, sign up online. Next one, we're going to France. We just got back from Spain. Waste no time. We're going to France next year. So if you're interested in joining the Unity North Travelers on their trip to France next year, you want to stand up? Betsy, wave your hand. Betsy and Jeff Seguin are leading us on that trip. So they'll have some information for you downstairs today, but there is a full informational meeting next Sunday at 1 o'clock here in the sanctuary. So please join us for that. All your questions can be answered at that time. Next, praying pause. We have moved our praying pause service to a quarterly service. It is a very special service. If you're not familiar with it, it is our service for animals, for our pets, for our beloved four-legged, feathered, all kinds of animals. You are welcome to bring your pets to that 4 o'clock service next Sunday downstairs in Holy Grounds Cafe. It is one of our favorite services that we offer because our pets honor us as much as we honor them. So that's next week. And I want to invite everyone, if you have never participated in the Thanksgiving Ecumenical Service, it is at Temple Kolemeth, and there are many, many faith traditions that come together. And what we do throughout the year as we're planning this is we find what we have in common. And I've been on the committee for, I think, the 5 years that I've been here, and it's not hard to do. It doesn't matter whether you're Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, Episcopalian. It doesn't matter what your religious belief system is. There is commonality in all of them. And we come together once a year to prove that to the world. So that is at Temple Kolemeth on November 21st. Please join us. It's a wonderful, one of my favorite services of the year. And I think Christmas outreach, I'm going to turn over to Richard.
Yeah, thank you, Diane. I appreciate it. You know, that somebody once asked a church that if your church burned down tomorrow, would anybody care outside of your sanctuary? And if the answer was no, then you're not doing your job. We are a community of service. We take the love that we have in this room and we take it out there. And at the holidays, we amp that up to a great degree. And so we're amping up for the holidays right now. We're going to be collecting for the Foster Parents Association, the stuffed animals. It's always nice to have those teddy bears in there. You can start bringing them starting next week. We're going to fill the seats with teddy bears that get loved up all season long, and then we deliver them to kids that need a little extra love at Christmas. We're also looking for some volunteers to put stockings together. We've adopted the group 6 to 10-year-olds, and so we need a team to take that on to put those stockings together. Each of our ministries is going to be bringing an item that Misty Cochran and I are going to be putting together in a basket for the homeless population. And she went directly to the homeless population and said, "What do you need?" So those items are coming in, but there's a few very large items that they were emphatic that they needed. So we're going to be having under our Christmas tree this year sleeping bags, small tents, blankets, and sweaters. And so you can bring those in starting next week. We're going to be collecting the whole month of November into early December and be delivering those. We're also going to be adopting 3 families that had a bit of a rough year. That will be on a Christmas tree downstairs. You'll be able to get a star and help a child get a gift that would not get a gift otherwise. I really hope that you will pay attention to the details. If you're involved in any ministry here, talk to your ministry lead because they know exactly what that ministry is going to be bringing. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, it is my pleasure to formally introduce our musical guest today. So as I said, Danielle and I met Denise Rosier at the National Worship Leaders Conference. And as we were there and listening to the wonderful music, we looked at each other and we said, how do we bring that into a unity environment? I wish there was somebody that was writing that kind of music, but with a new thought message. And then we met her, and she's doing it. So, there's always a divine appointment. So we were just thrilled to meet her and then have her come and share her music with us. She's an award-winning artist, musician, songwriter, and speaker. Denise's music has appeared on 5 solo albums as well as numerous compilation albums and television. In addition to winning 4 Positive Music Awards, Denise is the first artist to push New Thought music through the genre barrier by winning 2 nominations for Best Contemporary Christian Gospel Album at the Independent Music Awards, which is awesome. So it's our message getting through to the to the masses of the genre. Denise's concerts, music, and message programs and enriching workshops are all part of her passion to help people come to an understanding of one another through music, conversation, and their oneness with the divine. Will you please officially welcome back to the platform my friend and your friend as well, Denise Rosier.
Oh, thank you so much. I am super excited to be here with you this morning to share some music with you. This first song I'm going to sing is really just a message about how we don't need to be celebrities or elected officials in order to forward love and peace and goodness into the world. It happens within all of us, and we all have that power. I am one, simple and plain, no superpowers, no famous name, but I stand tall, 'cause I believe something greater has come alive inside of me, and I have felt the Spirit stirring in my soul, deep in my soul. I will give love, I will speak peace, all because of the love that's got a hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I am one, but I'm not alone. When I'm with you, I am home. Side by side, we find the truth. When the Spirit in me meets the same in you, and I have felt the fire burning in my soul. In God.
Well, all I can say is I know God now. God's showing up doing business as you, and you are a gift. And I have been waiting a long time for you to be here. So welcome, God. We're glad you're here. Oh, take a breath, everybody. How many people are seeing the face of God everywhere you go? Everywhere you look, everything you are experiencing, you're seeing the face of God. How many of you are on fire with that idea? So on fire that when you go unconscious, there's an immediate wake-up call that said, oh, I forgot for just a minute that this is the face of God. Let me remember and let me readjust. I want to start with a quote, and I absolutely butchered this name. Somebody who speaks fluent French from France told me that I'm mispronouncing the name Teilhard de Chardin. And she went, no. And I said, is it Teilhard de Chardin? And they said, it's even worse now. So this guy said something really cool that I want to have as a context for the talk today. Let's read it together. Someday, after mastering the winds, the waves, the tides, and gravity, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And then, for a second time in the history of the world, man will have discovered fire. So the big question of the day, isn't that an amazing quote? Whoever that is that said that, I don't know. But the reality is there's a fire in us. We come and we gather together in community. We come to share ideas, to hear songs that awaken something within us. And a fire gets ignited, a spark. How many people remember the very first time you ever walked into a New Thought church and somebody told you you weren't broken, you weren't stained, there was nothing wrong with you, you just had to wake up. And you got on fire, a spark, a fire began to be ignited. And that's a good thing. How many people remember that moment when you recognized your own value and you recognized the face of God when you were standing in front of the mirror? And you began to see beneath the surface of your human experience and to look beneath the surface of your physical appearance to the presence and the power that was animating your life. It's an awe-inspiring view, isn't it? And that's the view we're called to have with everybody, to be on fire with God. So who is on fire with God today? I want to know, who is on fire with the divine essence expressing in your skin? Oh, wait a minute. Did you feel that? Who's on fire with God? Woo! Who's on fire with themselves? I don't know. The reality is it's the same thing. If you are on fire with God, you are on fire with yourself. And I'm going to talk about fire today. We mentioned it quite a bit yesterday. My kindling isn't here today, or last Sunday. But we're going to carry that analogy because you seem to like the analogy of fire. You know, fire, when it's in the hands of somebody who's conscious, is the most powerful tool for creation. It lights the room. It warms the room. It purifies things. And boy, it can cook some really good meals if you are conscious and awake to the fire that you have in your hands. Those who are unconscious, have fire in their hands, boy, it can burn and it can destroy. And the reality is, I want to draw an analogy between fire that we make, physical fire, and the fire of being alive with the pure energy and presence of God and our awareness of it. Anybody know somebody who was so on fire for God that they just vomited everywhere they went? And it just spilled out of them. And you can notice the people because they're talking to people and they're slowly trying to back out of the room because it's out of control. Zeal is an important thing. It's one of the 12 powers of humanity. Zeal must be there, but boy, it better be balanced. Because zeal out of control is a fire that will burn a lot of people, and it will burn you. Yes? So I want to use my father today. My father would be totally blown away if he knew I was using him, as a devout atheist, as the source for a spiritual talk. Forgive me, Father, I have sinned. But my father and I didn't have a lot of communication. We didn't talk. There were just two moments I remember where my dad and I really connected and bonded. One was throwing a baseball back and forth. He taught me how to pitch. The other was sitting at a fireplace or a fire pit, and my father teaching me how to build a fire and how to tend to fire. And as I remembered that moment, there were a lot of metaphors and analogies in that exercise that absolutely are germane to the spiritual life, must be implemented. Number one, my father taught me that a fire, if it's going to be a good fire, it has to breathe. A fire needs air. A fire needs oxygen. And so I want to ask you today, what is your spiritual practice of meditation? What is your spiritual practice of giving yourself air? How have you been overzealous and a fire has gotten out of control and you've forgotten to stop and just breathe? You know, when you want the fire to go, you go like this. There's a whole lot of New Thought people, religious people around the world that need to simply exhale for a minute. To be on fire with the concepts that we teach, but to take a moment to simply breathe, to exhale. My father also told me that it was very important what fuel you were using. What kind of wood are you using? You can sit there for 3 days straight lighting matches trying to light wet wood, or wood that isn't going to burn very well. Nothing's going to happen. You have to have the right fuel. What is the fuel for your spiritual life? Charles Fillmore tells us that life is consciousness. That's it. Consciousness, the thoughts that you are holding, that which is bouncing around your head, between your ears, is the fuel for a fire that's either out of control or burnt down. Careful the thoughts that you are choosing, because they are creating a fire that's out of control or one that is managed. Are you on fire or are you burning up? My father also told me that you need to be very mindful and awake and conscious, because a fire can go out of control. You need to contain a fire. Anybody ever been camping with somebody who did not control the fire? There's sparks flying everywhere. And special prayers to all of my friends. I'm a Californian, and I have a number of family members that are displaced because of an out-of-control fire. I also have a lot of people that have been displaced in this congregation because we were a little out of control. I was a little bit too zealous. I was too fire, and I needed to temper it with a little bit of water. I needed to pay more attention. The reality is, what's the difference? I need to be conscious. I need to be awake to how I'm relating to people, how I'm giving a message over to people. I live in fire. It's what I am. But I must be balanced. I must be aware. We all must be, to have a spiritual life that is a marathon and not a 50-yard dash. My father also told me to look for the warning signs. When is it getting too hot? When is it getting too high? Because it's about to go out of control. When is that fire about to die? There are a whole lot of people that could benefit on the religious path from simply asking that question. Is the fire too hot? Is it too high? Or is it burning down? Self-inventory is vitally, vitally, vitally important. The thing my father taught me that was the absolute most important is when you're dealing with a fire, any Boy Scout will tell you this. There's a time to poke the fire. There's a time to work with the fire, and there's a time to go hands off and let it go. Let it go. There's a time when all the ashes from previous fires are necessary to create a really good fire, and there's times you got to clean out the firebox. You got to clean it up because the ashes are now in the way. Spiritual path, we got to know when to let go. We got to know when to hold on. We got to know when to let go. We got to know when to inhale, when to exhale. We have to know when it's time to just release, let go, and get rid of the garbage that has kept us from having the fire of today. You see, the fire you had last year might be different. If you are gone unconscious, that fire might be moving out of control. So we clean the ashes, we take stock, we take inventory, we look within, and then we get into communication. The thing that was most meaningful to me at the fireplace was it's a time I talked to my father. And I went, there's the big metaphor. There's the big metaphor for your spiritual life. How often do you talk to the Father, the Mother, the essence, the source of the fire? People come into my office, and they'll be complaining story after story of what's wrong in their life. And I usually will very quickly, once the story's gone 6, 7 times, say, tell me about your spiritual practice of meditation. Tell me about how you let the fire of your life breathe a little bit. Tell me about how you are tending the fire by just simply being present to the voice of the Father within you. The presence, the Christ, the light, the Buddha within you. And they fumble over themselves trying to convince me that there's a meditation practice. You can tell very quickly that there isn't one. That communication is necessary. Communication with the source of all creation. Communication with the spirit that is you. The way that source energy is expressed at the point of view. You're talking to it on a regular basis, because if you don't, you're moving to unconsciousness and you got fire in your hands. And that can be a very dangerous thing, but it can be the most potent and powerful thing. So spiritual awakening. How many people are on a path of spiritual awakening? I hope you're all here because you're on a path of spiritual awakening. If you're kind of going, I'm not too sure, I'm just kind of here for the coffee. We're on a path of spiritual becoming. We're going back to the Garden of Eden. The prodigal son is coming home to remember the truth of our being. And that path is exciting. It creates a lot of zeal, enthusiasm, passion, fervor, and great joy. And that's a really good thing. But I'm saying that is a fire that you need to be very mindful of, that you are playing with. And so I want to draw some parallels here today. You know, have we ever, put the next slide up for me. I see a lot of New Thought people that look like these people. It's easy to spot the person who was told for the first time that all the power of the kingdom was placed in their hand. It's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. In fact, it's already been given. Go create heaven on earth. You have at your disposal all the tools necessary to make life a magnificent heaven on earth. Maybe not streets paved in gold, but consciousness paved in gold. An awareness that everywhere I look, I see the face of God. And then we get so on fire with that spark begins to take off. And it begins to burn, and it begins to burn brightly. And then people begin backing out the door when we're talking to them because we're a little bit too zealous. Reminded me of the minister. There was a minister who just finished seminary. He was so excited to preach his first sermon. And he got called to a little toe-dunk town in the middle of nowhere, USA. And he shows up. And he's dressed to the nines, feeling good, and only one person shows up. Little old farmer, a little beard, sitting in the front row, and he goes, I don't know what I should do here. Maybe I'll ask him, do you think I should go ahead and do my sermon? There's only one of you here. And the farmer looks at him and he says, you know, I don't know nothing about preaching. I'm just a lowly farmer. But I do know that if I went out to the pasture to feed my cattle, and only one cow showed up, I'd feed him. Oh, the minister was thrilled. He was going. And he began a sermon full of fire, full of zeal, full of passion for an hour and 15 minutes, for an hour and a half. Everything he'd ever learned in seminary was poured into that sermon. 2 hours later, he finally finished, and he went to the little old guy in the front, and he said, well, what'd you think of my first talk ever? The farmer looks at him and scratches his head and said, you know, I don't know much about preaching. I'm just a farmer. But I do know that if I went out to the fields to feed my cattle and only one showed up, I would feed him, but I certainly wouldn't dump the whole damn truck on him. There's a whole bunch of people in the New Thought movement that are dumping the whole damn truck on everybody. And therefore, the exchange of energy, the exchange of fire doesn't happen because it's like, get out of me, you're a nutcase. And there's too much. Perhaps there's something to the consciousness of, let me work with the principles first, get myself in control the fire, and then share the fire. But we know a lot of people that are doing that, yes? It's also easy to spot the New Thought person, the religious person, who was so on fire, not paying attention in a methodical way to the way that they shared this life-changing, transformative message, that the fire ended up burning up, burning out. You cannot keep it going at 150 miles an hour over and over and over and over again without a time to rest, to let the fire breathe, to tend the fire, to back away, to clean the ashes. All necessary for your spiritual path. Use the metaphor for however you want for your spiritual path, but it is necessary. You know, you go buy a brand new sports car, and you take it off the lot, and for the next 6 months you drive that thing at 150, 160 miles an hour down the road. You never check the oil. You never check the tires. You don't look at the check engine light. You don't take it in for maintenance, methodical maintenance. Guess what? I don't care how much you paid for that car. 150 miles an hour for 6 months, that car is going to die on you. And there's a whole lot of New Thought people that look like that. They're going through the motions of showing up. I come to church because I'm supposed to. I go to a class because it's what I'm supposed to do, but the fire is gone. The fire is out, and smoke signals are being sent up everywhere except in the mirror when they see themselves. Everybody else can see it. Are you okay? Are you all right? You used to be so passionate. You used to be the one that drove me out of the room. The reality is a sports car, needs regular maintenance. Anybody who knows anything about cars, you don't leave the lot with a new idea and a new principle and drive 150 miles an hour. One step at a time, one day at a time, sweet Jesus. But we get on fire with these ideas, and we end up looking like that, and then new thought just dies. Any new thought, any new paradigm that was possible with the new thought just simply dies. Anybody ever seen that face in the mirror? Let's be honest with each other. You see, it's about communication. Just talk to the Father. Talk to the people around you. Talk to your brothers. They're also tending a fire. Let them know. One of the things I had to do for a landmark forum, I think it was, many, many years ago, was go to my closest friends and tell them, I want to interview about how you see me. And I want you to be really honest. Don't hold anything back. Wow. Was that an eye-opening experience? There were a lot of people that saw me like face number 1 and face number 2. No, I've got it all together. I'm going to be going to ministerial school. A lot of people told me, you better get your act together because that's not going to last in ministerial school, either one. And you know what happens? You ever see those religious people? You know, if you have a fire and you tend to blow on it, you can keep it going a little bit, a little bit. There are a lot of spiritual junkies, a lot of religious junkies walking around the face of the planet trying to keep a fire going. The next workshop, the next book, the next hot topic, you're hyperventilating. There are people on the spiritual path that are hyperventilating and their eyes are popping out. Desperate to keep something alive. Desperate to keep something alive. And if you think they exist in other churches, look around the room. Let's get real with each other. I have been every one of those people at any given time on my spiritual path because I wasn't tending to the fire of the truth that I knew, the truth that I wanted to demonstrate, the truth that I wanted to share, and the truth that I wanted to live. The spiritual path requires being awake to the fire in your hands. It requires us to be conscious and mindful at all times. You know, there was the burning bush in the book of Exodus. We all know the story. Moses comes to the burning bush. It's a great metaphor. But it's important to recognize in those scriptures that it says the bush was on fire, but it was not consumed by the fire. And so I'm asking the question today, are you on fire or are you burning up? Do you look like those people? Warning, warning, Will Robinson, we're about to burn up. Or are you very mindful and attentive? And when that bush was asked what its name was, what is the answer? You all know the answer. What's the answer? I am that I am. A bush that will be not consumed, but on fire is the one that fills in the blank after the words I am. I am conscious. I am attentive. I am planning. I am peaceful. I am all these things that the beautiful song that Denise sang right there. No accident. That song was just so incredibly perfect. But the reality is there's a lot of people that are being consumed by the fire, and there's no planning behind it. I have the 4 P's of fire building. Pace, planning, presence, and purpose. Again, pace, planning, presence, and purpose. It is these are necessary components to a bush, a life, a being, a spiritual experience that is not burning up. I am, fill in the blank. And let me tell you, what follows I am will be following you. That's the fuel for the fire. What follows I am is following you around your life. And you may blame 1,000 people for why that's following you around. All roads lead to you. It's all about responsibility. Am I responsible for my life, my words, my actions? Am I responsible for what's being put in that blank space? Think about that for a second. Can you answer that question? I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. We're going to do some self-inventory today. And I'm not going to give you any answers. I'm just going to ask you questions and let the energies, being honest with yourself, an honest inventory, an honest interview, much like the Landmark Forum, just be aware of the energy that comes up in you. Here are my questions. Are the typical words out of your mouth, I get to, I choose to, I have to, or I just don't? Where are you at with that? Just think about that. I get to, I choose to, I have to, or I don't. I have to is a fire that's already burnt down. When it comes to showing up here on Sunday morning and being with your family, is there an I get to, I choose to, I have to, or I don't? That's the same question you have to ask yourself when we pass a basket and we ask you to put something in there. I get to, I choose to, I have to, I don't. You get to determine, is that a fire or is it a bush being consumed? Next question. What do you think about this one? Do I respond to life? Do I react to life? Or do I have no reaction at all? It doesn't matter. Do I respond or do I react to life? That will give you a pretty good indication of where your fire is. Let's keep going. I'm going to start meddling here, Joel. Just be aware. Am I in a feeling of creativity? Is my life a symbol of creativity, of stagnation, or am I just throwing paint on a canvas hoping that a work of art will emerge? There's a whole bunch of people throwing crap at the wall, hoping something's going to happen like that, thinking maybe there'll be a work of art. That's a fire that's on the way out. Your eyes are very close to popping out at that point. Am I running to something? Am I running away from something? Or am I taking very methodical steps to be something? Soak that in for a second. Are you running to something? Are you running away from something? Or are you methodically planning to be something? Another question. Am I pulled by a vision? Am I controlled by a vision? Or am I merely pushed by my life? What do you think about that one? I'm going to start to meddle a little bit. And this is one that really, really ruffled some feathers in the first service. Am I having an experience of God? Or am I merely using God to improve my earthly existence? Am I having an experience of God, of love, of harmony, of peace? Or am I simply using God to have a better physical existence? See, with that equation, one is cause, one is effect. And there's a whole bunch of people driving a sports car at 150 miles an hour trying to change the effect. God is not of the effect. That is a byproduct of the being. The effect is a byproduct of being the cause. Be honest with yourself. And there's a lot of movies out there from the New Thought movement that are all about how do I manifest the sports car so I can drive at 150 miles an hour, have it die so then I can go manifest another sports car. There's a perpetual hungry ghost happening there. The Buddhists talk about the hungry ghost. Never satisfied. I need a faster sports car. I need a better partner. I need this. I need that. I need everything to change outside of me. And I'm using the principles that we have here, the fire placed in your hand, the I am of your ability to create, because you were created in the image and after the likeness of creativity itself. That means the fire is in your hands. And you are completely and totally asleep if it is only about manifesting something in the physical world. God is about substance, that which is standing underneath the matter. That which is spiritually underneath it is what's more important. Let's continue to meddle a little bit. Am I motivated with changing my own life? Or am I consumed with changing everybody and everything around me? Or am I fine if nobody ever changes because I've given up? There's a whole bunch of people that said, I can use these principles to change the behavior of my friends. I'll be happy when they change. And so I'll hold affirmations and denials and prayers and meditations all to change Lorelei's behavior. And then I will be fine. You're a hungry ghost. You're driving a car 150 miles an hour. Your fire is dead. Are you on fire or are you burning up? Change yourself. The only place that you have any control or power is right here. Right here, right here. Quit worrying about everybody else and tend to your own fire. Are you motivated by internal or external desire, or do you not even care? Am I building bridges or walls everywhere I go? Or have I just quit building anything because it's just useless? Here's a big one. Am I serving myself, little s, self, or am I serving the big S self, the big S self of the entire creation? If this church burns down tomorrow, will anybody care outside of these walls? I certainly hope so, because we've got to be about more than the human ego, the little s self, and start getting into a place of service. You want to find out how to know if you're on fire or if you're burning up? Go do something for somebody anonymously. No credit coming back to you. how does that feel? You're either the Christ or you're burning up. The credit doesn't matter. The credit is an external reality. It's a reward. It's a validation. It's about the being. That's way more important. Last question. Am I more concerned, and I want you to breathe this one in deeply, because in our nation's energy field right now, this is really important. Am I more concerned with sharing my example, my belief system, or my opinion? What comes up in you when I say that? Oh, yeah, I know this guy over here is really all just about his opinion or his belief system. There's a lot of people that point fingers at other religions, at other political parties, at other people. That's of no concern to you. You are there to be the living example of the Christ, to follow the example of the Buddha. You are there to let your light so shine that those around you cannot help but know that that light exists in them too. Quit worrying about my opinion is. Your opinion is useless. Your belief system is way less valuable than your example. You shall be known by your fruits. The master teacher told us this. Talk is cheap. So, if it's about your opinion and your belief system, you are a fire that's burning up. I guarantee you. And if you are about just living the life that you were called to live, you are a fire that is eternal, that cannot and will not ever go out. You hear that? What follows I am is following you. Let it be I am conscious. I am taking responsibility. So what is the remedy? Okay, maybe you heard some things today and you went, I have to look at that. That's a good thing. We had communication. I'm asking you to go home and have communication with the Father, with the Mother Essence, and go, where might I make the adjustments? I'm going to invite you to continue that process. And here's a few ways that I want you to continue that process. Solutions, if you will, to whatever came up in the questions I asked. Listen to your body. I figured April would like that one. This is her field. Listen to your body. You're not in that body by accident. Thoughts held in mind will reproduce after their kind. First, they're going to show up here because you give them access to your brain, but eventually your body's going to go, warning, warning, something's out of congruity with the light that you are. Listen to this great thermometer. It's an amazing tool to pay attention to. Second thing, listen to your words. Listen to the things that are coming out of your mouth. If you're not listening to your words, then you're not conscious, and you've got the I am fire in your hands, and you're burning up. Pay attention to those words. They are smoke signals going out for the rest of the world. I'm burning up, I'm out of control, or I'm in control. Pause, think as you listen to your body. Pause and think as you listen to the words that you are speaking. Anybody have repeated patterns in your life? Things you notice the same people keep showing up? The same situations keep showing up in your life over and over and over and over again. It must be God's fault. It must be God's will that I deal with these ridiculous people. Or maybe the devil. Maybe the devil's involved here. Any story that involves you being a victim is a fire that's burning up. Any story that involves you being a victim to anybody else's behavior is a fire that's burning up. Personal responsibility. And if you look at all those situations, all those relationships, all those things that are showing up in your life, guess who is the common denominator? Ooh, that one hurts. He's meddling now. People often come up and say to me, well, how did you know to talk about exactly what I was working on? We're all one. I'm just up here having a therapy session with myself, working on my own stuff, and it happens to hit a few of you. So don't take it personally from your big-ass self. You are the common denominator to all the situations. Take responsibility for your life and let the fire be eternal. Don't let it burn down, and give it a little bit of air to take stock. Pay attention to the reactions around you. People are reacting to you. If they're backing out the door every time you speak, you might want to adjust the fire. You might want to poke the fire. How about simply taking a Sabbath and enjoying the fire? I have put more fires out because I overtended them. I love playing with fire. Shh, don't tell anybody. You poke, the fire's going beautifully, but I can make it just a little bit more perfect. Perfect is an illusion. How about you just enjoy where you are? The fire is beautiful. I'm going to enjoy this moment. No, let me poke it. I have killed more fires because I poked the hell out of them. Put the poker down and take a moment to breathe in and go, this is beautiful. Let there be light, let there be fire, and I see that it is good. Take your time to pace yourself. Pace yourself. Anybody ever put together a piece of IKEA furniture? I have been that guy. That's him. It's pretty easy to see. IKEA, they have like 5 million pieces too. I'm building a bookshelf, but they've got 5 million pieces. And let me tell you, if I have not methodically worked with all those tools and all those pieces, how in the world did they put 10 extra pieces in this box? And why is that thing a little wobbly? Oh, holy crap, 2 of those boards are backwards. There's a whole lot of New Thought people that have to go backwards because they didn't take the time to lay out the tools, to look at the plans, to set the direction for where they wanted to create, whether it be a bookshelf or the spirit of heaven as you. Take your time. Pace yourself. Be present. Plan. Boy, there's a concept. I don't like that. There's a lot of creative people that come to New Thought churches. They could benefit a little bit from involving the right hemisphere of their brain. Let me plan to be a fire that is tended so that I don't end up with pieces that don't belong and I don't end up having to tear the whole thing down and to rebuild it. When's the next workshop coming? How about you take one book, one idea, and you live it? You could take Denise's song that she sang right before I got up here, and that could be the only gospel that you ever needed to read. Live the words that were in that. The rest is all just commentary. No, but we're looking for the next song, the next big hit, the next big workshop. We're hyperventilating. Our eyes are popping out of our head, and the IKEA furniture pieces have been strewn all over the place. Be methodical, pause, conscious, balanced about your commitments. The person that's on fire, I remember the first time you learned these principles, you were so excited about it. And then you volunteered for 40 things. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to be everything to anybody because I am the light of the world. I'm amazing. I am the veritable presence of Christ. Yes, 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 yes. 2 weeks later, you're resenting 38 things and really doing 2 things well. Be mindful about the yes. Jesus, our master teacher, said, let your yes be your yes, let your no be your no, and no is a spiritual word. To tending a fire, giving it the air. It's okay. And if anybody tells you, oh, you're so negative, you say no, say, blame Richard. Richard told me to say no. He's the fire builder. Go blame him. It is important that you are a balanced environment because a balanced environment is what will create the fire that is eternal and will last. Just a couple more things and we're going to go into meditation. I want to make sure I get this right. What are you doing for other people? There's a lot of New Thought people that are driving the car at 150 miles an hour. Me. It's all about me. And they've missed the necessary consciousness that me is a we experience. Me is about serving the one, not just the one. New Thought breeds a lot of ego. And I'm saying that for New Thought, we wonder sometimes, why has New Thought not grown? We're talking about the bridge that Denise is building to bringing the Orthodox Christian world that is exponentially far more people involved in that message than there is in New Thought. Why is it not grown? I want to tell you because those people serve outside themselves. They have put their ego on check, put it to the side, and said, let me serve others. And in serving others, I'm serving myself. And I get people that get really upset with me because that's a dead horse that I beat. Martin Luther King Jr. said that life's most persistent or pertinent question is, what are you doing for others? The fire of unity that I want to tend is, what are you doing for the one? Every act you do, every word that you speak, every moment, every feeling, every thought that you are holding is tending something greater than you. It is tending a oneness. You see, you're not just about saving your own life. You're not just about building a fire for your own life. For God's sake, take responsibility that you were saving the world. No, the Messiah will take care of that. Guess what? We found the Messiah, and the Messiah is you. The Savior you've been waiting for is sitting in your skin. Tend that fire. Be awake and be conscious and do something just for no other reason than to do it for the service to the one. That's a fire I can get behind. Stop regularly to feel the presence. This is the solution to all of the world's problems. Let me just pause for a minute and let me feel God. No words. No theology. No boundaries. No nothing. I feel God. I do God. I experience God. And guess what? Your fire then is invited into my fire, and the world is a heck of a lot brighter place. How are you tending presence? And how are you communicating with the Father in those intimate moments of learning how to tend and build a fire? A closing quote from Rumi, and my last idea I want to share with you. You become like the people you surround yourself with. As you're tending your own fire, be very mindful of who is hanging around with you. What is the consciousness? Are they throwing water on your fire, or are they helping something build up? Are they uniting in a collective fire of oneness, or are they creating a sense of duality? Let's read Rumi's quote together. Set your life on fire. Seek those who fan your flames. Not just those out here, but all those personalities that you have within the committee that you call forth, and dismiss the ashes. Dismiss the committee that's in your brain that is no longer necessary to living as the veritable testimony to the fire of God. When we find that fire for God, when we find the fire for love, we will, as Tia de Chardin said, rediscover fire yet again as a human race. That's my prayer. That's my vision. That's my hope. And I invite you into that vision as well. Let's go into a time of meditation.
Another home run, Richard. I really love your analogies. So we're going to do a song. Normally we chant leading into meditation, but we have Denise all the way here, and so we wanted to do a full song, but she's going to ask you to participate. So I invite you to get comfortable. You can take the music in, but you are also going to have an opportunity to participate a little, and we know that singing is like praying twice, so I invite you to do what's comfortable, but this is called Joy in My Day.
Love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy my day. Love in the words I say, love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, God joy in my day,
joy in my day. We are lifted up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up higher. And we are lifted up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up higher.
Now we're going to sing these words together as a community. We're going to know these words for ourselves, for the people around us, for this community outside it. Love in the words that we say, peace in the world that we make, God in every breath we take, joy in our day. Love in the words we say, love in the words we say, peace in the world we make, peace in the world we make, God in every breath we take, God in every breath we take, joy in our day, joy in our day. We are lifted up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up higher. Let's lift each other up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up higher. We are lifted up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up higher. We are lifted up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up higher.
I invite you to close your outer eyes and be aware of your body, the ability to move your body, but that you're choosing to hold your body in stillness at this time. Be aware of the transition into stillness, deliberate stillness and softness. As we contemplate the many faces of God, bringing awareness into heart, deep into your heart space, visualizing the divine, the infinite as cosmos, nebula expanding, stars collapsing, one of the infinite aspects of the divine. Feel the fire. Then transitioning this imagery, this visualization into God as earth, divine as earth, like Pachamama or Yemaya, the very ground you walk on, the very food you eat, feeling the fire. Continuing to breathe, to settle into your seat and bring awareness into your heart. We change this image of the infinite, this time as a divine person. Perhaps seeing the divine as Jesus or Krishna. Feel the fire. Breathing, grounding, settling, still gazing inwardly with the mind of your heart, seeing the divine as your beloved, your child, your partner, your closest friend. Feel the fire that is the love. Then ultimately, letting that warmth grow, that ember brighten, gazing inwardly and seeing the divine as you are at this moment. There is no separation. There is no other. This is the flame that is inextinguishable and ever renewing. It is the silence. You are the silence. I am the silence. Be your true nature. Be aware of the silence that refuels the fire. Be aware of the relative quietness of your mind at this time. Be aware of the smoothness of the breath. And the stillness of the body. Bring back the silence as you gently open your eyes. Thank you.
When Moses came to the burning bush that was not consumed, I believe in that same scripture was challenge. Take off your sandals. The ground you walk upon is holy. Everything that happened here today, take your hands and place it upon your heart. And repeat after me, this ground is holy. This ground is sacred. This ground demands that I tend the fire. And so shall it be.
Are you going to do the offering?
Oh, I guess
We
you
were going to
can.
sing again, but that's okay.
What time is it?
Yeah, no, we're good. So let's just move into the offering.
You know you're in the right church when the minister forgets to take the offering. Thank God I've got people around me who never forget that my salary depends on this right here. I'm going to invite you to ask the questions that I asked you earlier, the self-inventory. Is this a have to? Is this a get to? Is I choose to? Our master teacher said to give and to give exceedingly with joy. Let this be an exercise of joy. And if you are so led to give with a little bit of extra joy today, you know, I challenged this congregation last week that we had some pretty low offerings the last 4 weeks. You answered the call, and I'm grateful that you answered that call. It went up a little bit. It didn't quite go where I thought it was going to go. So let's let a fire be implemented into your offerings today. Right now, take that gift, whether it be a check or cash, or you're taking your phone because you have texted to give. However you give to this community, know that it makes a huge difference. It keeps the fires, it kindles the fires of this community and the good that we're doing going. Take it and let's have with one powerful voice say our affirmation together. I am so blessed. I am so prosperous. And it is my great pleasure to share of my prosperity and to share of my blessings. And in the giving, the entire world is blessed. Thank you, God. Amen.
And as the baskets come around, we affirm that gratitude for all that we have, so that all that we can give, and we know that it gets pressed down, shaken up, and we do that through song with I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. And we are blessed to have one more song with Denise. She also has a table out there. I suggest you go and get all of her CDs. And we're hoping to have her back. Who would like to have her back for a full concert? Yep, she does a whole praise concert. She did one in Athens last night, and I wasn't able to go because I was trying to get better for today. But I've seen them online, and we're hoping to have her in 2020 because it looks like it's a lot of fun. So will you please welcome back one more time, Denise Rosier.
When a step seems too hard to take, every turn feels like a big mistake. It makes you want to close your eyes and hide. Trust yourself, even if you're scared. Don't give up, don't give in to fear. All the strength you seek, you'll find inside. Open up, spread your wings and rise above the clouds in your mind that blind you to who you really are. Don't waste your time, no one else can live your life. Open up to what you've known all the time. More than you are, you are more than you are. Speak your mind, make a statement. Don't hide yourself out in the open. Step into the spotlight and shine. Be the change, fall like a domino, a chain reaction that sets the world aglow. Be amazed at how it falls in line. Open up, spread your wings and rise above the clouds in your mind that blind you to who you really are. Don't waste your time, no one else can live your life. Open up to what you've bless you guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Sunday.
Please go see Denise in the back in the foyer. But right now, just join hands, join hearts, join intentions. A really quick closing song as we make a commitment to take what we have in this room out into the world, to be a little more kind, a little bit more generous, a little bit more awake, a little bit more of the presence of God. We take full and complete responsibility. Let this live in your heart, live in your voice, and live in your mind. I am responsible for the life I am living. I am responsible for me. I am responsible for the life I am living, and I choose a life that's good. One more time, like you mean it. Come on now. I am responsible for the life I am living. I am responsible for me. Raise those hands up now. I am responsible for the life I am living, and I choose a life that's good. Thanks for being here this morning. Go tend the fire of your life and take responsibility.